Hey everyone, welcome back to Sold on Love from the Orange Chairs, where we talk about real estate, real love, and real life. I'm Paul, and this is my amazing husband, Fernando.
Together we are the Lord Salmon team, husbands, realtors, and our business partners. In our podcast, we mix real estate tips with real life moments from our journey as a couple with a 30 years age gap, working, living, and loving side by side.
Yep, you heard it right, 30 years. So whether you're buying your first home, buying another home, selling a home, or just like a good love story or a good laugh, there's something here for you, we're sure. This is Sold on Love from the Orange Chairs.
Today's topic will be about how we survive working together every day and still kiss goodnight. But before that, let's have a quick catch up.
Yeah, so it's been a busy week. We've had a really crazy one actually, so much going on with a ton of showings, wrote up a couple of contracts, which was awesome. May have to go back to the drawing board on those, but nonetheless, a couple of deals going through, so it's nice. We've been busy nonstop.
Yes, we have been like back-to-back days, like running from listing appointments to showings and sneaking a little bit of our workouts because we love working out.
I love how you snuck that in, that's awesome. And of course, trying to keep up with the new podcast, a lot of late night recording, laughing way too hard at things that sometimes we forget what the heck we're talking about.
So we did manage to squeeze a few hot tub sessions after work. So those couple of hours in the bubbles is like where we regroup and finally say like,
Exactly.
the day is over.
Exactly. That's sort of our calm down time, our place where we kind of, we do talk about business, but we talk about a lot of other stuff actually. And the business it's easier talking about business in the hot tub for some reason. I'm not sure why, but and then of course we like the quiet nights too. We are binge freaks, I guess. We get hooked on a show and we watch it until it's done, and then we complain that we have nothing else to watch.
Yes.
Which is funny.
Honestly, that is real life. We hustle, we love, we laugh, and we try to keep our feet and our hearts grounded.
Yeah, so wherever you're listening from, whether it's your car, wherever, work, home, we're just glad you're here with us. This is new for us, as you know. So we're learning as we go. We won't always get it right, but we're going to keep trying. So let's dive into today's episode.
So, summer real estate trends was hot right now. Let's talk about what is going on with the real estate world this summer, because honestly, it's a very weird one.
Yeah, it is definitely weird, but still full of opportunity if you know where to look. Inventory shifted a little bit. We're seeing more listings than we did last year in some cases. Buyers are still moving pretty cautiously though because of interest rates. I think there's a notion that they're gonna go down, to go up. Nobody really knows. But what I think we're starting to see is this is sort of a normal market, if you will. This is the way things are. It's still statistically balanced. There's still good deals out there. There's great deals. There's great homes to buy. So still good. Supply is good, and buyers are still running into some multiple offer issues. We saw that this week ourselves.
Yeah, so hesitation creates opportunity. When there is less buyers competition, it can be a great time for you to negotiate and finally get that dream home that you have been waiting for. So we have some tips for buyers and sellers, and the tips for the buyers, let's start with them.
Yeah, let's talk to our buyers for a little bit, and there's lots of you out there and more coming around. So the first tip, kind of easy, but probably the most important one is get your financing ready before you even look. You need to know what you can do. Interest rates are fluctuating. It can play havoc with what your payment is. There's other type of loan programs out there that you may not know about. So really the first thing is get your pre-approval. It makes a really big difference in
Absolutely. So also don't look bold just because the market feels slow. A smart offer still wins. If you make a really good offer, your offer has more chances to win. When you do a really weak offer, the seller is gonna check your offer and pass.
Yeah,
pass to the next one. So always make a strong offer since the beginning. We always recommend to probably full price if it's a really good home that is gonna be in the market for a couple of days and it's gonna go fast.
Yeah, yeah. I think it varies from buyer to buyer, home to home. But I agree with Fernando. Definitely, is you really need to make a real earnest offer because sellers see right through what you're trying to do. And remember, a seller typically has an agent that they're working with, and that agent is going to filter a lot more than you may not like, whether you like it or not. That offer is going to come through the lens of another agent, not just your agent, but it's going to go through it, and they may say, hey, this is, this is a low offer, but something like that. So you really want to really make the most earnest attempt to make a really good offer.
Yes, usually it's more than one offer when you get that. Like a seller, let's say as a seller agent, you receive as much offers that you can.
Right.
So like I was saying, make a strong offer since the beginning, so you have more chances to win.
Yeah, and I kind of like to put just maybe an exclamation point on what you said. Your real estate agent is your expert. You hired them to be your expert, and you hired them to negotiate for you, right?
Yes.
I mean, and that's what they told you when they won your business they would do for you. Part of that is letting go and trusting them and knowing that they know what's happening in your local market, maybe even in that neighborhood that you're making a bid on. And kind of another way to think about it, as corny as this may sound, but I don't remember the last time I've ever heard of a brain surgeon doing his own brain surgery. Yeah, so maybe trust your agent to do the work for you, let them help you negotiate, and listen to their guidance because they have been down this road and they know when it's a lowball offer typically.
Yes. So now let's talk about diesel sellers. Sellers, this is a real check for you. Pricing right is everything. You can just be testing the market because with a high price anymore. So what happened is, if you go overpriced in your property, buyers are gonna pass that. They already know that it's overpriced and they don't wanna pay overpriced properties. So it's very important to always pick a good price. So when you are working with your agent, hear your agent, listen to your agent and to the advice that your agent is giving you. Because it's just an example. We have a client that he wanted 1.2 million for his property, but it was like $900,000 max with the pro and cons that we make in that neighborhood. It was impossible for us to get a listing like that because it was gonna be a waste of time for us. He wanted 1.2 and he didn't want to go down less than that. So it was, pricing is everything.
Yeah, and I think to go with that, and he's right, and to go with that, days on market is probably one of the biggest enemies of a property trying to be sold because people make assumptions right away. They just do, whether you like it or not. But buyers, when they see a property is on the market for 90 days or 108 days or something like that, they just assume something's wrong no matter what, and that I can make a lowball offer and the seller is gonna magically take my offer because the property's been on the market for 108 days. It does not work like that. I assure you it doesn't. So, really from a seller perspective, really get that property priced right.
Yes, also something that is very important is photographs and marketing still matter a lot. A well-staged home with great visuals is the key to grabbing your buyer's attention. So we were seeing the other day some properties for showings, and Paul was showing me this beautiful home, but the pictures were terrible. They didn't have good angles. They were really dark with a lot of shade. As a professional photographer, I will advise that photographs are the most important part in a listing. If you show in the photographs a beautiful home, that is gonna grab your buyer's attention. So if you need a photographer, here I am. The Lorsa and their team has their photographer, Lorsa Photography. Come and you can see more of my work.
I love it. And if you do want to pull up any of our listings, you will see the vibrant work that he does, and it does really make a difference. So anyway, bottom line, it's all a balancing act. You got to have the right strategy. Summer is still a great season to buy, particularly in Florida where it's sunny all year round, and we're happy to help you navigate that. So when you interview an agent, just look for one agent that tells you what you really need to hear versus telling an agent what you think you want to hear. anybody can do that.
Yes.
You need to listen to the agent, and really, I'll sort of wrap this up with tough love sells homes,
Absolutely.
and tough love gets your offer accepted. So listen to your agent, listen to their tough advice, and run with it.
So let's continue with something that we call our 5 ways that you should probably try. So it's like how we balance love and business without killing each other.
I like the title, Without Killing Each Other.
So let's start with our morning routines. Coffee, comfort, catching up. So our morning routines are way different. And to be honest, I am not a morning person at all. I prefer sleeping a little bit late, waking up, having a cup of tea or coffee, still in my pajamas, in the comfort of my house, jump in my office, sit down in front of the computer and start my day. Paul is way different than me. He prefers waking up pretty early in the morning, but I will let him talk about it.
I'm that guy. It's just years and years and years of the jobs I've had in the past and the traveling. So I am that guy that's up bright and early, 6 o'clock, maybe before, sometimes a little bit later, but not much. I just like to get started. I still struggle, even though sometimes I do start the day later with you at times.
Yeah, sometimes.
And what do I always say? I'm like, I feel like I lost half the day. It's a mindset. I'm just used to being up early and getting things done no matter what. But I will tell you, when I'm laying in bed and I hear the alarm go, almost every morning I have the same internal fight that goes on. I look over and I see him. I'm like, all right, do I really have to go to the office early? I'd rather just stay here and cuddle with him instead of going to work. But alas, bills got to get paid.
Yes, absolutely. Let's talk about the second one, knowing when to turn off the real estate talk.
Yeah, that one's a tough one. Trial and error is a little bit what we do, because when you work together, you talk together and you do everything together. So it all bleeds in, and it's hard to keep it separated sometimes. And it took us some time to figure out how to stop talking about work and just talk about anything else but that. It's not easy.
Yes, at the beginning we didn't have any boundaries. Like we talk about work all the time, and during dinner, lunch, even during walks, going out, for bed,
that's true.
all the time, and that is not healthy, because we were constantly forgetting also about the relationship that is very important.
Yeah, so putting some guardrails in place help. So, during dinners, maybe no shop talk. After a certain hour, no shop talk. And, we understand little things pop up, but when we are like our hot tub evenings, we don't talk business hardly at all, maybe just a little, but pretty rare that we even talk much business. When we do talk business, I thought we was getting better at that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I try. So, but we just try to make sure that we have time to be a couple and not to be business partners.
Absolutely. So it's like sometimes we forget that, sometimes you forget in the middle of the night, you forgot to send an email, and then you are like, oh shit, I forgot to send this email. But it's like, be present. We are watching a movie. The email can wait until tomorrow morning.
Yeah, he's right. And those boundaries do make a difference. They do remind us that our relationship's incredibly important. It isn't just about business wins. It's also about the connection that we have, the things that we like to do, recognizing that the business wins allow us to do all the things that we want to do right down the road. So, I think we've gotten better. We're just like anybody else. We struggle sometimes with the little things get in the way, but I think generally speaking, we're getting so much better at that.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about this one that is very interesting. One silly fight and what we learn from it. So let's talk about the flyer fight.
Oh, okay, the flyer fight. I remember that one.
So it's like, oh boy. We were designing a flyer for a listing, and I wanted something like simple, classy, very clean. I prefer like white colors, cream, gray. And he's different. He's more like shiny and all of that. But I would tell, you can tell the rest of the story.
I love the way you said I'm shiny and all that other stuff. So I do suffer from shiny penny syndrome. I see something shiny and I want it. So it's sort of like that. I just like different. It's not that I don't like classic or simple or clean or anything like that, because he's right. We usually end up doing what he wants anyway. But I like different, and I want to stand out somehow. And so we had this argument over a flyer that we were doing, and it got heated, whatever you want to call it, for no particular reason. And what happened then, other than me storming into the kitchen, throwing crap all over the place?
Well, I closed my computer like I dropped the mic.
He did a mic drop with you. He had made his point, and he probably knew he was right.
Well, we learned that probably the fight wasn't about the flyer. We were having a stressful day. We didn't agree in the flyer design, and maybe it wasn't about even the flyer. So.
Yeah, it usually isn't, right?
Yes.
It's usually something else. And at the end of the day, it was fine. But those are things that happen, and you have to, that flyer fight, whatever we want to call it. If we were at the office, we never would have had that argument out in the open like that at all. Not even a second. But because we work from home a lot, and because we're business partners together, it happens, and you have to learn how. It's hard. Don't get me wrong. It's really hard. You have to learn not to let that happen, because then it clouds what's really going on in either side, whether it's the business or the relationship.
Absolutely.
So the other thing we really focus on, and this is the thing that I love that you came up with, is trusting each other's zone of genius. I absolutely love that. That is so cool, because it's so true. We're just different, and honestly, that's probably one of our biggest strengths. It's obviously an obstacle sometimes, but it's a really strong strength for us. And I tend to handle a lot of the customer stuff, the timelines, customer facing, negotiations, really anything with spreadsheets and deadlines, I guess, or something like that. It's my years of being executive.
Yes.
Can't help it.
And the other side, the creative part, the photography, the staging, the marketing, social media, the design, and let's be real. Sometimes his computer and phone too, because he's a mess with those sometimes.
There's truth in that. I am guilty as charged. I have maybe over 35 years in the business, but I'm not gonna lie, cloud storage and things like where my photos go, and why can't I do this screenshot? I do need help sometimes.
Yes, but even when we don't try to do each other's job, because we could, and we know how to do most of the things in business, we have to learn to give each other the space for our strength, and trust each other's zone of genius.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know when I give him something, it's going to be incredible quality, because out of the two of us, I will tell you, he will deliver high quality work from a marketing perspective and all that. He just has that eye for detail that I don't have that same eye. So I know that whatever I do, he's going to take it and make it actually look right. So,
but we are not trying here to be superheroes. We're just trying to be a strong team. And honestly, knowing someone always has your back, that is your secret weapon.
Yeah.
And in business and life, that is very important.
And he's spot on. And by the way, you are my superhero anyway, so you're already a superhero. All right, and then why laughter saves us. It's kind of we have a secret safe word, so.
So at the end of the day, if you can laugh with your partner, everything will be okay. Everything will be okay.
I agree, and we do laugh a lot. We pretty much, when we start laughing, you feel like you can almost handle anything. We joke constantly, even in the middle of a lot of chaos sometimes, and it does help us kind of get our crap together and reset, if you will, and remind, listen, while this stinks, we still love each other. And,
sometimes things can get a little bit tense because the stress of work, or one of us being a little bit dramatic, but we have a safe word.
You're gonna tell them the safe word?
Well,
okay.
Let me guess. The safe word.
Oh, okay. You want
to start with D, and in essence, loosen up.
Yeah, it ends in loosening up. So, what do you think?
It's not what you think. It's not what you think. I know what you were thinking, and it's not that.
Oh, Lordy.
The word is dance. Dance. Why? Because we love dancing, and it's like our little code for taking a pause, breathe, and not take everything so seriously. It's the reminder that no matter what is going on, we can always choose joy.
Yep. And actually, sometimes we even actually dance.
Yes.
We do. He dances a lot better. I just try and keep up with him, but we do.
Yeah, one of us make a little bit of a silly dance, and then we start laughing, and everything is better after that.
I love it. So it's not really just about the humor, but it's making a conscious choice to pick connection over conflict, and that's a growth in itself. Because I think I just think about us and where we've been in our relationship, and we've had conflict, and we have been able sort of to turn the page and really start focusing on the connection even stronger.
Yes.
Versus so focused on a conflict that at the end of the day, we say this all the time when we have arguments. Do you even remember what the hell we're arguing about?
No.
We just want to be right, and we don't even know what the hell we're being right about anymore. Am I right?
Yeah.
See?
Okay, so
Wait, you said I was right?
No.
It's on camera.
I didn't say
Anyway.
you hear what you wanted to hear.
You're right, that is true.
So now we have some real questions
I
from
love
other
it.
people. And these questions come like basically from social media or us asking for feedback for our first episode. So the first question is, how do you keep this spark alive when you work together?
Yeah, it's not always easy when your partner is your business partner, but I mean, because you have to be careful that it doesn't become just about work, everything. But I think we're really good at that. I do. I actually think that we're pretty intentional. We have certain things that we do throughout the day. We communicate a lot. We do. We text each other. Even if I'm not here, there's probably not 20 minutes go by that we haven't reached out to say, how's your day going, babe, or something. Could be anything. But I feel like we're very intentional about that, and it's not about real estate when we do that. It's just about connectivity. So I think that helps a lot. Spontaneous date nights help. Turning your phone off during dinner, that's a big one for me. I'm not the guy that I don't want to have dinner with my phone. So I really appreciate that one a ton. And he'll be the first to tell you, because I probably drive him nuts with this, but I'm always asking, how you doing? What can I do for you? And I know there are probably those moments he's like,
It's a little bit annoying.
yeah, I know that he was going to say that, but it's just my way of just checking in and make sure that I haven't missed a beat on something. That's all.
Yes, so we learn also to respect each other's space, celebrate wins together, even laugh during stressful moments. Love can survive anything, even tough days of showings, because if you take love as a priority, that is everything. Something that we're doing now to keep this spark alive is we are doing more of what we like. So in the afternoons after work, we take like 2 hours, go down after putting our swimsuits, go to the jacuzzi, have a drink, relax, and have a great time. Also, we pick one day of the weekend to go out. It could be just Friday for happy hour with our friends, have a drink, dance a little bit, and come back home on a Saturday night, go out dancing, and come back home. And that keeps the spark alive, because those moments are no work related.
Yeah.
Those moments are just us as a couple. It's our life.
I love our hot tub nights, and if you saw some of the swimsuits that we've ruined because of the time we spend in the hot tub, you would know we actually do go. So
Yes.
kind of funny.
Yes.
All right, let me go to the next question. What's your go-to advice for couples buying their first home?
So I will say to be honest with each other from the very beginning. Buying your first home is for you guys is together like your first milestone, but it can also bring a lot of deeper conversations about lifestyle, finance, and about goals together. So my advice is sit down together and get crystal clear on what really matters for you and to both of you. So it's like what is non-negotiable in the buying process, and what are you willing to compromise? What are you going to be willing to give up to buy that dream home that you want?
We're working with a couple now that I think have done a good job of that. They, without getting into all their particulars, I think that they have recognized that, to buy their first home, they needed time to practice what it's like to budget for a home and all that, and they did take that time, and it put them in really great buying position. So But I agree with that. That's actually a really good point that you're making there. And at the end of the day, buying a home probably should strengthen your relationship anyway. Get your pre-approval. This is the second time I've mentioned pre-approval already. So have your pre-approval ready. That's great advice too for a couple buying their first home. And then just start your process of getting the right agent. And we're here. In case you can't see me, we're the right agents.
I was like, what is he shaking his hand for? I was like,
I was getting their attention.
Also, you should communicate very openly with your realtor. It's very important. If you don't communicate what you want and what you are expecting in your dream home, it's really hard for us to find the house that you are looking for. Because when we are looking for your home, we go to the MLS and we put all the criteria that you are telling us, and that is how we look for your dream home. But if you are telling us you want a 2-bedroom, but then when we go looking for it and we are showing you 10 houses that just are 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and then you say, oh no, I want 3, we cannot show you that data, a property like that. We will have to do a search again. So like being very open with your realtor. That is very important too.
Yeah, and a good realtor will get that information out of you anyway, but he's right, there's nothing wrong with telling everything you want on the list and go from there. So, all right, I think we've got one more question to go, right?
Yes. Have you ever disagreed on how to handle a client, and what do you do?
Never. We agree on everything, can't you tell?
That's not true.
Yeah. Yes, we disagree, and
Look at my face.
It's completely normal. We absolutely disagree, whether it's on pricing strategy, negotiating an offer, and not all the time, but we've had moments where we disagree. And some of the disagreement comes from things that might seem kind of obvious at this point if you get to know us. Is tons of years in the business, I think I know everything. I don't, but I like to think I do at times. So some of that leads me thinking a certain way, and I sort of fall back on things that I've trusted maybe even before, and I trust my gut a lot on stuff. So I tend to have that view, and Fernando's view sometimes can be a little bit a different lens, which actually has helped me as well.
Absolutely, because I like to think about outside of the box, like when we are doing marketing, staging, and finding also fresh ways to connect with buyers. So yes, there is times that we see a situation differently, and that can lead some heated moments, but we always find out a way to fix the problem, the disagreement, and because it's the most important thing is for our client. It's not for us. It's not our life, is our client, and that is the thing that matters the most in this situation.
Yeah, and to sort of paraphrase and add to that quickly, we have all this disagreement behind the scenes. You'll never see us have this issue in front of a client, because first of all, that's not the client's space. They don't deserve to be in the middle of one of our disagreements. But two, it's healthy. It's his perspective is incredibly important, and so is mine. And sometimes we land in the middle on something, or we go with his idea or my idea, whatever. But it's very healthy in a business, and having the opportunity to work, sort of in this industry for 35 plus years, one thing I definitely would tell you, a difference of opinion usually means the quality of work is going to be so much better.
Yes, that is true. And also those disagreements have helped us to grow stronger as agents, as partners, and we have learned so much to trust each other more, communicate better, and appreciate the different things that we can bring to the table. So yeah, we have disagreed, but we haven't let that divide us. If anything, it makes us better actually.
Yeah, I agree. So so thank you for the questions, and if you have any more you want to keep sending us, whether you send them directly to either one of us, you comment on the post, you comment on anything,
Feel
please.
free to do it.
Yeah, we actually enjoy getting the questions, and this is kind of fun trying to answer them as best we can. So so let's move on to sort of our tips of the week, right?
Yes.
So real estate tip of the week. So the first one really the one I want to talk about is don't skip the pre-approval process. And basically, I shouldn't even say don't skip it, is get your pre-approval.
Yes,
It's-
that is the most important part of the process when you are buying a house. Without pre-approval, you cannot do anything.
Yeah, it's your golden ticket, so to speak, to a smoother, faster, and more competitive home search. Pre-approvals definitely show a seller you're serious, that you're not going to get an offer accepted, unless it's cash, I guess, without a pre-approval. So get that done, find a great lender. We are a concierge service real estate team, so we know everybody and anything. We're your one-stop shop for just about anything real estate. So we can help you with that too, but whether it's your own lender or a lender that you work through with us, getting that pre-approval is everything.
Yeah, sometimes that can look like a boring step, but also skipping pre-approval is one of the biggest mistakes that buyers can make.
Yeah.
And let me tell you why is that. Because without the pre-approval, you don't know exactly what you can afford. So you don't know what's your budget. Sellers are not gonna take you serious without pre-approval. No, you cannot make an offer. So nobody's gonna take you seriously about an offer without pre-approval. You can fall in love with a house that actually you cannot afford. So it's very
Great point.
important getting your pre-approval.
That's a really great point, actually. And we've had that happen where, like I said, we're new at this sometimes when I don't new at this, I guess, but we make mistakes too. And showing somebody a house that they don't have the pre-approval amount for is a big mistake.
Because then they get it in their head, why I cannot afford this house? And they fall in love with this, and that is what they want now. And the reality is they are pre-approved for something less. And then when you go and show them what they are pre-approved for, they feel
Let down sometimes.
Yes, they feel exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, pre-approval. That's now the third time in today's podcast I think
Yes.
we've mentioned pre-approval.
So let's go for the next tip.
Yeah.
That is the love tip of the week. So don't go to bed mad, especially if you have early showings.
And we have early showings tomorrow, so let's make sure we
Yes.
don't go to bed, Matt. And I am a big believer in this, and I know he'll tell you that. Sorry about that. I just pulled his earplugs out, but I know that he'll tell you that I do say all the time, let's not go to bed mad. That is a big deal for me. I just hate the concept of trying to sleep at night when I'm not in a good mood. So, when you're juggling love, life, and real estate and carrying tension into the next day, it doesn't really help anyone. So a restless night makes, the morning a whole lot harder, especially when you've got clients that you got to show homes to.
Absolutely. So it's always good to take a moment to talk about it. Even if it's harder to do it, just say, I love you, and let's talk about this tomorrow.
Exactly.
So that can change everything. And love and real estate runs better with good vibes, a little grace, and a full night sleep.
I agree with that. As well said, actually. So closing out the episode today, other than we've hammered home pre-approvals quite a bit, if you're buying, selling, renting, investing, we would love to walk that journey with you. Whether it's your first condo, your forever home, your next great investment, we're here to guide you through every step of the way. We're honest, hardworking, heartfelt, and we really, really enjoy what we're doing. But if you don't need to hire an agent and just want some advice or help, we're here too for that. If you want to know how to work together as partners and want to hear more of our story separately, give us a buzz. We'll walk you through kind of how we do things.
Yeah, so thank you for spending time with us in Soul and Love from the Orange Church. And don't forget to subscribe, give us a like or a review, and share this with someone who could use a little real talk in love and real estate.
Exactly. So we'll see you next week. And remember, real estate is just like love. It's all about
location,
timing, and commitment. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you tuning in.
Have a good weekend.